Let me ask you a question. What was the first ever Treyarch COD game that you've ever played? Have the answer? Alright, now from these selection of games, which would you consider to have the best zombie experience? Everyone has a different answer, and it's probably so different that they will say that their favorite isn't from Treyarch, but from Sledgehammer Games called Advanced Warfare. I'm not gonna judge. Maybe a little. But everyone has an opinion. The one question that is most important though is, what was the first ever zombies map that you can recall as a kid, and what about it drew your attention to keep playing? The reason I say this is because children have a weird fascination with horror games, even if the game or show scares them. And due to this fascination, it clings on to the back of their brains for years to come, and depending on how badly it scared them is based on if what we saw was truly scary. I picked out some comments from my last video, which, by the way, sorry for causing a battle in my comments because of my bad flipbook gameplay. I'm still new to editing and recording on PC, so if I did cause any any uproars in the community, I am very sorry. I did not mean to. I know the gameplay is not good. It's literally 2 frames per second. I am very sorry. Anyways, besides that, I picked some comments out, and the most I saw was Nacht being the scariest map, with some good reasons. Of course, there was one comment that said Kino being a scary map, but we'll get to that in the future. So what makes Nacht so scary, and why does it still have this haunting feeling that was felt years ago as kids? Firstly, we have to talk about World of War and the campaign. Zombies was never once mentioned when this game came out, and when you started playing World of War for the first time, all you see was campaign and multiplayer. Pretty normal stuff for its time since before this game was COD 4, a game that revolutionized Call of Duty to this very day. Anyways, if you were a goofy goober like me, you'd of course want to know the story of this game, and not only is it brutal, but it's horrifying on how gory and uncensored this game was for its time. The flamethrower actually turning people into burnt flesh, limbs flying in the sky as a grenade explodes near the enemy. And the one thing that makes this game so iconic was any mission that involved being a Russian named Dmitry Podenko, a simple soldier working under Viktor Reznov. As much as I want to gush about Reznov, I have to focus. As you're slashing down and brutalizing any Nazis that stood in your way, you get to the final mission. As Reznov gives a motivating speech, you push into the heart of Germany, and you're given the task to end this mission by putting up your country's flag. All of a sudden, a Nazi ambushes you and shoots you. You're injured, but Reznov swoops in and slashes him to death. He gets you back up, encouraging you one last time. The flag was set and the game was over. Credit rolls. As kids, you don't really know shit about history. You just think that Mr. Russian Man was cool, and how the story was cool, and bloody, and how you were gonna tell your friends that you saw Hitler or something. But then something unexpected happened. Where are we? What is with this laugh? Where is everyone? These are the first thing that you would ask yourself when you first spawned in. Is this another mission that's a secret? There's Nazis coming, but why do they look so different? They don't even sound human, they sound like animals. World of War pretty much jump scared us, plopped us into this abandoned building, gave us a pistol, and said, good luck. Even though we have a gun, and there are gun chalk drawings on the wall for us to get, we still feel so defenseless, and we don't have our comrades to help us fight off these zombies. Not only are we stripped to basically nothing, but we have no one to lean on, not even my boy Reznov. There is one beacon of hope though, one thing that can bring up some spirits in this cold and gloomy atmosphere. If you haven't quit out of fear yet, that is the mystery box. This beautiful box of sunshine can give you any weapon that it chooses to give you, even the ray gun, which was considered the best weapon at the time. Although you have all of these weapons to your likings, random power-ups that will boost your survival, and you probably found a spot to camp on, there's really nothing else on this map. But enough of the scenarios. What made this map so terrifying to kids and is still scary to this day, even though this was the first ever zombie map to be released? Let's talk about that. Firstly, we have to talk about it real quick. The ending to the campaign to then the introduction of zombies made every kid shat themselves. It's out of nowhere, and we go from a scary triumph of the Russians' brutal victory to then the silent emptiness as if you accomplished nothing. The cutscene had so many things that filled us with questions like, where are we? What's with the plane, and who are we? None of that is explained here, and it's honestly such an amazing start to something fresh and innovative. It left such an impact on the COD community, especially with DLCs coming out, expanding the zombie lore and its fun factor, not just the scariness of the maps. Nacht der Untoten is small, empty, and is devoid of all form of color, but blue and gray. The building is destroyed and was likely abandoned by the Nazis. There are trucks outside that you can reach, and the moon shines upon us with the morning, not being certain of arriving before the zombies overrun us. Speaking of the zombies, they sound terrifying. They don't sound like the run-of-the-mill Black Ops 3 zombies where they say Sam or just scream like a crackhead in their final stabbing competition by the 7-Eleven trying to win free shoes. These zombies sound animalistic, as if whatever was left of this person is completely gone. The only thing that remains human is the shell of a soldier we once fought with glowing eyes. Their screams and roars were terrifying when we were kids. It left such an impression on me especially. I have two memories for this occasion. One of them is actually pretty funny. For my first story, it has to do with my first time playing zombies ever. My brother told me that I should play zombies with him, and I didn't understand the concept of what a zombie was at this time. I just wanted to play with my brother. We spawned in, I heard an evil laugh, everything seemed so moody, and I was scared because I was playing LEGO Star Wars earlier, so this didn't seem like a happy-go-lucky kind of game. When I saw my first ever zombie, I was terrified. I didn't want to play this game, but my brother kept trying to get me to play. Eventually we survived to round 4, and I was shitting my pants like crazy. But something sparked inside of me that told my brain to try it again, but this time, by myself. I couldn't get my brother to watch me to play, since he was on YouTube or something, but I remember playing it again and it wasn't so bad after a while. I was scared, don't get me wrong, but not so much, not as before. I went to round 7, and I was amazed, and was telling my brother about it. He didn't really care though. Then it was in the double digits, then finally round 20. I was fascinated by this game in such a short time that it was basically the only game mode I would play when I booted up World at War. Multiplayer was non-existent to me. I was on that grind for zombies. And yeah, I pretty much just abandoned LEGO Star Wars after that. that game was pretty much just left in the dust. Alright, now let me get to the funny story. I was playing with my brother sometime later and I was more confident in playing zombies. I opened up the door to the mystery box and my brother got a mid-weapon. But on my first try, I got the ray gun. Thing was, even when I played by myself earlier, I never got the ray gun, so I didn't understand how good it was as a weapon. Next thing I know, he restarted the game. I didn't understand the reason, but I didn't complain. Same thing happened. I opened the door, he opened the box, hot ass, but then I opened it, first try ray gun. Now my brother is confused as hell, so he again restarted the game, and then told me to open it first. He opened the door, and I went to the mystery box, and literally on my first try, I got it again. My brother was pissed, and I could tell, not understanding as to why. He asked me if I wanted to switch controllers with him, and I said sure, and we kept playing afterwards. Pretty funny story in my opinion, and I'm willing to bet if I told my brother this story now, he wouldn't remember it. So that's the story about my first time playing zombies and what made the map so scary to begin with. Everyone seems to agree that this map's eerie tone and its introduction still holds up. I still get goosebumps just seeing this cutscene because of the amount of nostalgia that I get from this map alone. Before we end off this video, I want to do a quick lightning round about this map since I like it so much. Firstly, zombies have weird AIs. Either that or they just have very smart tiny brains. Sometimes the zombies would try to surround the building you're in by not going to the first window you see, but they will instead go to another window. For some reason, this one zombie right here skipped not one, but 2 windows just to try to get me, even though they were like the last one. Some people think that Lullaby of a Dead Man was the first Easter egg in Varrock, but this isn't true. There's a radio near the mystery box that can actually play some tunes. Shooting it or knifing it allows it to play music from either the campaign or the multiplayer. But knifing it a couple times can lead to an Easter egg song made by Kevin Sherwood, get this, WTF. No, I'm not lying. It's actually called WTF. No lyrics either, just Kevin rocking out. Alright, another thing. There's a few things that speedruns do that allows them to get to high rounds. And I'm not talking about level 200 type shit. Like, they actually go to the thousands. But there are a few things that they need to have accomplished in order to do so. Firstly, the red barrels outside of the map need to be destroyed. The reason for this is because they count as entities, and too many of them will reset the game before you can even hit like round 255. Which people actually thought this was a max round on Nacht der Untoten, but this is not true because there's a player named Krubs that hit around 5,262. So do what you will with this information. The thing is though, there is one barrel that is out of view that isn't possible to shoot at normally. And the reason being, I even tried this. I tried to shoot at this barrel. It's the tree has collision and you cannot shoot it for whatever reason. I have no idea why. So, speedrunners found out that they have to throw a grenade at a certain spot in spawn to destroy it. You can also destroy it here if you like. Pretty ridiculous, but it works. Another thing they need is a flamethrower because training the zombies in World of War is pretty easy, and only 24 comes out per round. It has unlimited ammo, and not only is it good to use a flamethrower due to it being fire and it spreads to other zombies, but it also weakens them, making it possible to use your gun. There was no icon for the drops. They were actually in text. There was no skull for insta-kill, and no 2x and double points. Max ammo did not refill your grenades, and funnily enough, the nuke didn't give you points at all. I'm not sure if there was Comforter, but if there was, that also didn't give you any form of points. And getting the nuke was somewhat dangerous because the zombies can still kill you, so be careful when getting it. Make sure they die fully. And the map that actually introduces nukes or Comforter getting points was Verrucht. Verrucht, the nuke actually gives you 200, I believe, or 400 points, and yeah, they went really all out on Verrucht, but we'll get to that map later on when we get to it. Lastly, the Springfield, which is one of the bolt action snipers. The Springfield is on this map, and it's actually the worst gun in all of zombies. It's extremely weak on even round 3. There was one misconception about this weapon that does need to be addressed though, and that is insta-kill. Basically, if you were to shoot at a zombie, people were saying that with the Springfield, it was a 2-shot to kill the zombies and not a 1-shot because of how weak it was. But this is actually not true. This is not a thing. And it's actually because the iron sight isn't correctly aligned on the gun. If anything, it just looks weird. The amount of times I've aimed at a zombie's head and thought I got it is a lot, trust me. I don't know why it's not aligned correctly. I'm pretty sure I heard this from a certain person on YouTube saying that this is not a correct crosshair on the Springfield. And it's kind of funny to think about that is the reason why people think it's like a 2-shot is because the crosshair is just not aligned correctly. Overall, although Nacht isn't a top tier map, just look at any tier list, you won't be seeing this map anywhere at B or above except for my tier list. But most of us give it a C at least because without it, we wouldn't have gotten zombies to begin with. And generally because playing it by yourself is pretty boring. Not only that, we wouldn't have gotten the memories we made throughout the life cycle of zombies and its horror-filled atmosphere and story that hunts over us as we play. It's a map that's known for 3 things. Its introduction to a game mode, how groundbreaking it is till this very day, and most of all, how Nacht der Untoten showed us how scary zombies truly are. I hope you guys stay safe and stay hydrated, and I'll see you guys next time.